Nate, I didn't even think you were going to swap. I thought you were just going to log out, take your L, and just like go walk the dog for 4 hours or something. I can't believe what happened.
That's basically where I was at. I was like, this is insane. When the Tyler Boyd thing happened, I was like, this is dumb. And then I'm like, whatever, just F it, swap. I had the swap sitting there for like 2 hours just waiting to hit export, and I just pulled the trigger last second. It was a frustrating afternoon because I played terrible. I played terrible. I got so shook from the Chase news.
Dude, we couldn't even figure out
Pollard card.
Dustiest. He played Joe Mixon and the new Joe Mixon.
Hollywood was dust. I mean, there was a lot of wide receiver like grenades this week. So I think it was. Well, let's just start. I mean, obviously, I think the biggest thing.
Sit on the toilet, click some buttons.
The bit loses equity at that point.
Let's just talk about Nate, man. I mean, I thought the Baker was in play too, frankly. I wouldn't have let it stop me. For a lineup I liked to have, and I had to have Baker instead of Geno, I would have done it.
Baker wasn't even like the third. It was Goff. Goff was the other guy who got a bunch of ownership. Goff was like the third highest owned.
Professional lineup.
Team that played against me in head-to-heads, it was like a 159.
You deserve to lose more money, bro. Mar Chase, great.
Geno, Mixon, White, Pollard, Deontay, Amon-Ra, Bride, and Cardinals D. Basically, it was like they all value middling, like no studs, no punts lineup.
I can't believe that people were robbed of you turning over Tony Pollard, man. I mean,
Tony Pollard was not a bad play. Moving forward, the Tony Pollard thesis is dead. No. Before it was just efficiency concerns. Now it's legit volume concerns. Dowdle is not just a change of pace back. They're giving Dowdle work significantly. And
but they're giving Dowdle work because Pollard sucks.
I know.
We already knew Pollard sucked. Like, this is just the genesis of Pollard eating ass.
But like, that's the difference between him and Mixon. Like, Mixon could go out there and suck the whole game, sucks, but doesn't get the volume. And in the red zone, they have just decided they are no longer going to try to run the ball. So with Pollard at this point, I think moving forward, this was like the last week to see, does Pollard still get the volume, even with the efficiency not being there? And this week we saw they're not afraid to give Dowdle work significantly. And
it wasn't no week to see. We knew who we thought he was.
In the first series, Dowdle got it's definitely over now. So here's the thing about the Chase thing. So Chase, I was pretty confident I was going to play until this morning. I was under the impression it was just like a back bruise. It wasn't muscular. They were just going to shoot him up with a bunch of drugs and he would be fine. It was just a pain management issue. But there were some reports throughout that were like, he's going to play, question of how many snaps, question of how much he's going to be. And I was like, I can't pay up for a high price wide receiver in this spot when there's so many other places to go. So I took Chase out of my player pool at that point with that report. And then there was another report that said that it was going to be Irwin / what's the other guy's name? I can't even pronounce his name. So then I'm like, I'm not also going to take the floor of a 3K wide receiver that I can't even guarantee is going to be the replacement for Higgins. And then I just got so concerned about the overall efficiency of Burrow, because then I had Burrow in my lineup and I was like, if I'm fading Chase, I also can't play Burrow and hope for that efficiency. So I then literally just ran a manual exclusion of Irwin, Chase, and Burrow and built around it. I just said I had to make this decision. And obviously within 10 seconds of the slate starting, it looked like an awful decision. But looking back, I think it's clear Chase was not 100%. It affected Burrow's efficiency. Obviously, Burrow, Boyd got there in the end. But I don't think that.
I'm going to say this for Nate. I agree with, Irwin was a good play, but I don't think you had to play him. I don't think he was a stone ass lock. And I agree with Nate that if you're not buying the receivers, then you don't need to buy Burrow.
Yeah. Right. And so I literally looked at my lineup. I felt that so many people were taking high price shots at Chase and then low price shots at Irwin, where their floor was going to be so low that in cash, I just felt great about all of my players and their floor. I looked at Geno, I looked at Mixon, I looked at Rashad, I looked at Deontay. I was like, I'm not punting anywhere. But the reality was Deontay is terrible and you cannot play Deontay Johnson in cash games. I'm like, that was awful. And Hollywood didn't get there. I was sitting there after the noon slate and I was like, I got to do the switch. I got to swap. And I just found what was the highest upside swap possible. And it was just, let's hope CD pivot as well off of Pollard, because I thought Lockett always has these games where he can hit 25 points, at no ownership. So
Deontay gives you the dub again.
Honestly, this Pollard was like 30% owned. I mean, he was not.
I know what the projection said, but sometimes it's a little bit more of an art, fellas. But
the Irwin thesis, he didn't get that volume. He only had 3-4 targets. It was targets. The touchdown. Obviously, I couldn't get to Tank Dell. Tank Dell obviously projected better. It's miserable. I cannot believe I should have just rebuilt the whole lineup.
Yeah, we were extremely lucky that Tank Dell only went 6 for 56 and 1 with 13 rushing. Dude's name is Tank. He was coming back. I mean, so here's where I mean, maybe it's revisionist. I don't know. I had some misgivings about Chase, but Chase is just an alpha, bro. And every time that Higgins is out, Chase completely demolishes. Yeah, that's where I played bad. I could have played St. Brown instead of Chase, and then I could have gone up to Dell instead of Brown. And I was just thirsty for upside. I was like, the upside of Chase and the upside of Hollywood Brown, the reason we played him, because he was a top 6 receiver when Murray was in last year. And it was dude, Murray's back. Let's go. I just chased the upside like the freaking heroin dragon.
I think Chase is healthy enough and you don't play Burrow.
It is not, sir. Burrow is $1,000 more than Geno Smith. What are you talking about?
You play Chase because if Chase is healthy, Chase is the best wide receiver on this slate by a mile. And the Chase Burrow connection is basically what the CD Dak connection is. It's just $2,000 cheaper. So if your thesis is I'm playing for this, then you're expecting to see this explosion game from him. If you thought at all, oh, maybe he won't be fully healthy, well, then you can't play Chase.
No, Nate. The backwards is true, as we've stated and confirmed, but I can like Chase and think he's a dog and not necessarily need to have Burrow and pay $1,000 more with him. I thought Geno was a real fine play. I would have played Burrow. I liked Burrow. Burrow was great and he did great and everything was great about it. But it's quarterback. I know he's been running a little more, but it's he's not one of these super mobile quarterbacks. So if I can approximate what he does with Geno, which ended up happening, everything's fine. I just didn't play him because he was $1,000 more than Geno.
Yeah, that's a lot to pay for.
This is some big it's my first year playing DFS energy that I'm gonna. You've been playing DFS for 10 years, man. You never pay 4,400 for any defense. It doesn't matter who it is. You ended up completely foregoing the Keenan Allen, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamar Chase. You didn't take any of them and you paid up for DST in your L, but we really need to rub this in. That is rookie mistakes.
I was going to say he played CMC.
I played CMC too. I didn't forego Jamar Chase, CD Lamb. Should have just played Noah Brown. I mean, let's talk about Noah Brown for a minute though. He smashed the shit out of last week. I know he's a lifelong.
This is what was it, Mac Hollins for the Raiders last year? You can't beat yourself up about it. The Noah Brown thing was, if you were that confident Noah Brown was going to do this today, I think you're a little overconfident in yourself. We never hear his name again in the rest of the league.
So let me ask you guys this. I had $200 extra. That's totally fair. The way I felt was just spoon motherfucker who's son of a billionaire. He might just tell everybody to eat dick.
That actually makes him more want to play Algier, to prove it. The dude is so unable to grow or to have any constructive critic. Nothing about this man screams any rationality to me. No matter how broken we think he might be.
It's just a bouquet of dicks. Kenneth Walker I thought he was my favorite tournament play of the week. But for the price, he was a few hundred more than this Rashad. He was $1,000 more than Rashad White. So 800 more than Bijan. Doesn't have the pass game role because Charbonnet's really been eating into that. He's been losing snaps. I thought he was a great play because if they're ahead, he can absolutely smash, but I did not think he was in consideration for cash. I mean, I thought it was fine, but I wasn't about to do it.
I didn't see any Keenan teams, but Keenan would have been fine to roll out as well.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we did CMC though, right? I mean, God, I mean, he smashed and
To be fair, I don't think he did smash. I think
no,
for
no,
his
no.
salary, this was like underperforming.
Yeah, I mean, to only get 20 because he didn't get the 100-yard bonus. He ended up with 95 rushing yards. He didn't get the touchdown that he gets every week. It could have been a big, big game for McCaffrey. Like this was almost the floor, TBH.
Yeah. QJ was bad at 5%. I think like he's bad. Like he is bad at football. Anybody who drafted him like early on in your seasonal stuff, like you're bad. But at this point, 5% owned in tournaments, knowing he's going to be on the field as much as he is in this spot, I think he's fine tournament play.
Something the Sims have showed us. That's been the frustrating thing about the Niners is they've literally put the dick down on some really good teams like the Cowboys when everyone was benched in the fourth quarter in that one night game. They did it today against the 6-2 Jaguars in Jacksonville. Just like, oh, all the players are now out because this game's too big of a rout. It's kind of wild. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you about my team. This is fun. This is the team that I had in the red zone. And this team, I stacked Dak and CeeDee Lamb. It didn't cash.
How?
Let me tell you. So, Alexander Mattison.
Why are you filling it out with these?
Yeah, I'm here to take my L. So I played Dak and CeeDee. Didn't bring it back, obviously. And then I played a couple little minis. So I did have Alexander Mattison. I also played the Kenneth Walker mini, bringing it back with Johan Dotson, 0 points.
I legit wasn't watching some of that game. What happened? Was he just running routes like and not getting?
That's right. Their only receiver over 42 yards, Brian Robinson with 119 receiving yards.
And was their second Gibson? I mean,
yes.
Wow.
Yes, it was. So, I mean, tough L there. I also gal-brained and played Drake London in this game with Marquise Brown. So 2 receivers facing each other. Yep, exactly. At tight end, I played Chig Okonkwo, correct. And then I played the Steelers defense at home against Jordan Love. But literally, Dak 42 points, CeeDee 42 points, and then Snowflake Madison, Snowflake Dotson, Snowflake London, Snowflake Hollywood. They didn't give Okonkwo the Snowflake, but he deserved them. This team didn't even finish in the top half of the tournament. Put me in jail. Can we talk about though that like the Dak CeeDee was real sharp in tournaments? Yeah, obviously I played a dog shit team around it, but like this narrative of like, oh, Pollard and the Cowboys defense, like if you blow a team out and you put up a bunch of points, that's like the ultimate, like the quarterback is efficient, right? That's how you win tournaments is like mass efficiency kind of are ripe for mass efficiency. So I don't think I ever would have gotten to Brandon Cooks, but like, man, that was the stack, right? You go yeah. Dak, CeeDee, and Cooks. I mean, buddy, you're cooking with gas.
I mean, Dak and CeeDee literally were doing whatever they wanted to do. Like there was, yeah, that like when you're getting that level of efficiency, 3/4 doesn't matter.
All right, Nate, can't wait to hear you had the Levis, Hopkins, Okonkwo.
No, I played bad this week. I had Purdy teams. So this one was a Purdy double with McCaffrey, and
McCaffrey catches touchdowns.
And his wide receiver hit. No, like I don't have the data on this, but I would actually say that a Purdy double is probably as good as almost any other double as you can find. Purdy is like San Francisco is one of the most concentrated target like volumes that you're going to find. I think Purdy doubles are totally fine in small field. Like I'm not playing millionaire maker stuff, but anyway, I did a Purdy double, which I think is fine. It was Purdy, McCaffrey, and Ayuk. The problem was that my bring back was Ingram, tight end. And it wasn't that I don't feel bad about the bring back because I think in this spot, I thought Ingram as a bring back actually has like a ceiling in and of himself. It's not a bring back for the sake of a bring back. It's a bring back who actually has a ceiling. And I felt okay about it. And then I filled it out with Bijan, Marquise Brown, which was terrible.
Yeah, but to your point, like nobody's playing Purdy doubles, man.
Yeah, that's where I got. Ayuk was like single digit. He was 7%. Ingram was single digits. Had Bengals D. So yeah, this team didn't get there. But Yeah, I was pretty high on San Francisco offense with everybody being healthy again. And I don't know. I don't think
Coming off the bye. I mean,
yeah.
the reality is me and Davis played Madison. Me and you played Hollywood Brown. Like, have fun staying poor.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. Hey, why not? Playing Madison. Oh, I gotta like get this 3% owned guy that no one's gonna see coming. And yeah, it's way too fancy.
Like if you're playing millionaire maker type stuff, then yeah, you do need these random 3% off. Like, you don't need to strive to find these 3% Madison plays.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness to me, I actually did throw this team in the Millie Maker. Like, I had a busy weekend. I was at a wedding yesterday, and I actually missed regging for like the high money, like spy and stuff like that. So I was like, well, I got a $50 like small red zone, and I'll throw it in the Millie Maker. The unique angle was just going Keenan and Amon Ra.